where mobile has not reached. And I see a lot of hope and possibility, and that is the reason why I feel also frustrated that why those possibilities are not taken up from the policy perspective, because very much if we change the policy in such a way that all railway stations with remote areas where fiber optic is already there, to make it mandatory to take the connectivity from there and take it to all the schools or all the panchayat. I mean, this is a simple policy decision. And infrastructure is there. Similarly, when we say that our people are not literate, not educated, why not we just simply target 3 million people who are panchayat elected people to give mobile to them and make them digitally literate? This is not a big number when we talk about it. Similarly, when we talk about health services are not reaching, why can't we have a smartphone given to all the ASHA workers or somebody, who actually carry the message of health and cure to the people through the messaging purpose, and not really the curative manner, but a preventive manner. Similarly, when we talk about education, why can't we tell that 7 million teachers should be given a smartphone and they should report from the classroom that they are present? Because our biggest problem is not only the quality of education, but the presence of teachers in the classroom itself. I mean, we don't have teachers going to the classroom. They go for attendance, they go for midday meal, they go for making sure all the administrative maybe, but less about teaching. And when the mobile allows you to report from anywhere because GPS is already included into it, and teachers are smart enough to learn without really teaching them, they can easily go and take one selfie with the classroom and report that, I am present here. So the second question would be, are you present but are you teaching? But the point is, at least one level more. At the moment, the person is actually outsourced the entire teaching. He is not even there. So there are so many things that we could have done. For example, ISP still is a big issue of telcos play, But why can't we propagate ISP to the level of rural ISP, to the level of individual entrepreneur becoming ISP? I take connectivity and make hotspots and make internet reach to the grassroots level. Because if you look at the ROI, return on investment, telcos are not going to go to rural areas for years to come. And you can't blame them. So that means half of the world will remain unconnected for many more years, because we are only half of the world is only connected so far to the internet. The half of the world is still not connected. And the world which is not connected is actually poor, geographically far and outreached. They are not reachable, they are poor, they are economically less capable of affording devices and everything. They are dispersed, they are not concentrated like urban areas. So all these are negatives for the telcos and the business to go there. So how do you do it? The only way you can do it by helping the community and taking the help from the community. So I would say that the unconnected people are unconnected not because of the resources not available, infrastructure not available, but policies are not adequate. And we should work more from that policy, that how existing infrastructure, existing policies can be propagated in an entrepreneurial way so that it can move on and connect more and more people. And all of you innovators here have the responsibility to come out with ideas which can actually pressurize government to create and open up policies which actually make more entrepreneurs and more connectivity at the ground.
Well put. Thank you very much. Yes, who would like to add to that?
Sorry, I know we are constrained in time, but I think of something very important issue on policy versus innovation and mobile revolution. And personally, I think we have a big challenge, because innovation is always ahead of regulation, legislation, and policy design. And if you look very carefully, you find that most of the time when it comes to policy design, legislation, and even regulation, it's mostly a knee-jerk reaction. It's a reaction whenever we have already seen the impact of technology. That's when we come up with policy. Now, I will add a question, another question, various questions that you just asked. And the question is, how can we ensure that we develop the capacity of our policy makers to make sure that policy design happens at the time of innovation, or during innovation, Regulation can also happen in the time of innovation. Let's not wait for the consequences and the impact of technology to come up with the legislation and policy development. Then you'll be focusing on the negative aspects of technology. So I don't want to get into that whole discussion about privacy and fundamental rights or fundamental freedom, but it always leads to that. So I think I will second what Manthan just said. And I think the biggest challenge we have, there's innovation always ahead of policy design. And I think we should find a way of bringing these debates so that this thing will happen at the same time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
When it comes to policy, I do have a point. We mean government. What we have seen during the digital payment revolution. In fact, as he has said rightly, sometimes policy has to be a precursor to technology. Sometimes it has to run along with it. What we have seen during the digital payment system, after the announcement that was made around this year, we saw a spurt, not only in terms of the transaction, but also in terms of devices out there. But what has happened now? It has gone back to the
Same level.
What is the reason? The reason is that doing a cashless transaction is costlier than doing a cash transaction. Now, did you make a cashless transaction less costlier than a cash transaction? No. The suggestions, recommendations, and everything. I'm talking about the NDR, the interchange rates, and all those. That policy enabling environment is not there, even now. So I feel that in India's transitions to digital payments, a strong policy push is required as well.
But at the right time, what he's saying कि policy जो है वो घोड़े के आगे गाड़ी होगी या गाड़ी के आगे घोड़ा होगा, वो बहुत बड़ी एक समस्या हमारे यहाँ पर है कि पहले हम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाएंगे, उसके बाद में पॉलिसीज लाएंगे, या पहले पॉलिसीज लाएंगे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाएंगे. लेकिन इस डिबेट के बाद में एक जो विचार है मैं वो छोड़ना चाहता हूँ आपके साथ में, एंड दैट आइडिया इज व्हेन Bhavana talked about the subsidies going away because of the connectivity, that may also harm the poorest of the poor, because the subsidy, they are the ones who don't even know that they had this subsidy in the first place, and now they don't have it. So that is the problem. So in this situation, all of you sitting here have to think again about how connectivity, how mobile society has to act in the future. Until now, when we were talking about poor people, we used to talk about redistribution of wealth. Now, we have to talk about redistribution of connectivity and knowledge. Because only by redistribution of knowledge, the people who are in the darker areas can get knowledge about how to improve their own lot. And that is very important, because unless you have knowledge, you cannot get your rights, and unless you get your rights, you cannot improve your own lot. That's the basic question which we have to think about and discuss in days to come. Thank you very much, all of you, for a very sober discussion. And when Osama asked me about this discussion, I said we can have a typical Indian television type discussion, and you can throw there so many glasses. But thank you very much, and I wish all of you all the best, all the awardees, all the participants, all the people here. You are the future. Thank you.
For a wonderful session. You have an open conversation.